Welcome back, everyone, to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball today. A beautiful Sunday here in Hickory, North Carolina, Durham Field, as the Bears are hosting a South Atlantic Conference doubleheader against the Newberry Wolves. The Bears, heartbreaking day yesterday, dropped a pair to Newberry, both in extra innings. Came back today and have dropped the first game of this doubleheader as well, 6-3 here in Game 1 today. That was a 7-inning game. This game scheduled to be 9 innings, as Tanner Moyers will take the mound for the Bears here in Game 2. Lenoir-Rhyne had a couple of chances there early in Game 1, but Josh Lanham, who pitched extremely well for about 2 2/3 innings, his control got away from him a little bit, and Newberry was able to score a few runs in a couple of different innings and took a 6-1 lead. Bears got a couple back there in the later innings. One back in the 5th, got a run also in the 6th, but it just wasn't enough as Lenoir-Rhyne fell again to Newberry for the 3rd straight game. Bears will enter Game 2 22-17 overall, 18-13 in the conference, and this being their final conference game of the season. Standings all of a sudden are looking pretty important, as I believe the top 8 teams in the league go to the South Atlantic Conference tournament. The Bears entered today in 6th place, but have dropped a game to Newberry there, so did not help themselves out in the standings. Newberry, on the other hand, 22-12, 19-8 in the league, and they were 3rd in the league standings heading into today. So, thanks for joining us here for Game 2, and what has become a little bit more windy day. And I was talking to one of my colleagues over here and speculated that maybe the temperature had dropped 10 degrees in about 5 minutes, and I think that is true. So a little bit cooler here for Game 2, as Moyers has a first pitch strike to Zachary Bales. Bales also was leadoff hitter for Newberry in Game 1. And he steps out. Moyers steps off, but everything seems now set to go. And here's the pitch to Bales. And that's a ground ball to short. Ferlinda's going to have to make a long throw and just can't quite get there. That was going to be a tough play all around. Nice grab by Ferlinda, but his momentum's going away from first, and he's got to throw back across his body. So, tough play there for Xander. And an infield single to lead off the game for Zach Bales. Newberry was pretty active on the base paths back in Game 1. They would try for second. Bryce Stover, the Hickory High product, and Bears catcher, was able to nail one, but they were aggressive on the base paths, were Newberry, and Bales threatens a run, but scurries back as Luke Orr comes to the plate for Newberry. Orr did some damage against the Bears back in Game 1, and hopefully the Bears will be able to stem him a little bit. 2 hits and a run back in the first game for Orr. And Moyers tosses over to first. Try to keep Bales close. Moyers comes set. And here's the pitch. And a bunt by Orr. It's a nice bunt. McHugh's only going to have one play. That's to first. And nice job there by Mike McHugh. Only really had one shot. Had to go to first with the throw. And was able to get Orr. But effective bunt by the Newberry first baseman gets Zachary Bales to second, and already Newberry has a runner in scoring position. We're here in the top of the first. Jack Harris comes to the plate. He was a nemesis, absolutely, for the Bears in Game 1. 2 for 4, scored a couple runs, 3 RBIs, had a long home run to left. First run of the game for Newberry. And he takes a strike here from Tanner Moyers. Moyer's a sophomore out of Bridgewater, Virginia. Came here from Patrick Henry Community College. And he will stand in or set to stretch against Jack Harris, Newberry right fielder. Moyers turns back and Bales scrambles back to second. Not sure there was any real threat of a throw, but again, trying to keep Bales close. He's now in scoring position following the nice sacrifice bunt by Luke Orr. Jack Harris steps in. Moyers comes set, and here's the pitch. And it's popped up. Looks like it's going to be playable for Kuda at second base, and it is. So 2 outs now for Newberry. Nice job by Moyers there, as Aiden Bauer will come to the plate for the Wolves. Three hits in game one for Bauer, scored a couple of runs. So he's also dangerous at the plate. Starting at third here, as he did in game one. And here's a pitch, and that's low, ball one. Just getting started here, game two. Bears looking to try to gain a split in this doubleheader on a pretty Sunday afternoon in Hickory. And Moyers gives a little effort back towards second. And Bale scurries back. 1-0 the count to Aiden Bauer as Tanner Moyers comes set. Here's the pitch. And there's a fly ball to right center. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to get to that one. And it is up against the fence. Galassi makes the play. Bales will score, and Aiden Bauer stands at second with an RBI double. So Newberry strikes first here in the top of the first, as Zachary Bale scampers around for the first run of the game. And Newberry quickly with a 1-0 lead here against the Bears. That was a long fly. When it came off the bat, you just had a feeling that neither Will Jones or Drew Galassi were going to be able to get there. And up against the fence, only a few feet maybe from going out. Colin Allman stands in and takes a ball from Moyers. Bauer at second after an RBI double. There's 2 outs here in the top of the first. Moyers trying to get out of this inning with no further damage. He will come set. Allman stands in. Pretty big lead for Bauer at second. And there's the pitch, and that is ball 2. So Moyers trying to gather himself a little bit here as he gets the call from Bryce Stover on the plate. Checks back to second. Checks again. And comes to the plate. And there's strike one. So 2-1 now the count to Colin Allman, Newberry shortstop. Allman had a hit and a stolen base back in game one. Has a scoring opportunity here with Aiden Bauer standing on second. And Moyer steps off. Moyers wants to get this pitch right. You know, there's a lot of innings left to play, but in the same respect, you don't want this to turn into a multi-run inning in the top of the first. There's a pitch, and that's going to be a little high and outside, I think, and that's now a 3-1 to the Newberry shortstop. Moyers being pretty deliberate here, as he should be. Down 3-1 in the count. And here's the pitch. And there's a shot to center. Looks like it's going to be playable for Galassi, and it is. And the Wolves are retired, but not before they score a run here in the top of the first to take a quick 1-0 lead. The Bears, heading in for the bottom half, will come to bat. And you're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. Bottom of the first here at Durham Field on the campus of Lenoir-Rhyne University, as the Bears quickly in a one-run hole after a single run by Newberry in the top half. So we'll see if Lenoir-Rhyne can get this one back quickly as Drew Galassi steps in for the Bears. Galassi 1 for 2 in game one, but also hit by a pitch a couple of times. So won't base 3 times. Here's a pitch from Josh Stemper. I'm going to try to see if I can get a confirmation on the pronunciation of Josh's name. So I apologize in advance to the Newberry people listening. Josh comes to the plate, and there's strike one. Bears trying to gain a split here today. Dropped a pair to Newberry yesterday, so pretty important to try to salvage a win here in this 4th game of 4. And we face the Indians this weekend. Excuse me, the Wolves. I apologize in advance in game 1. Been at Lenoir for 36 years, and most of those years I was used to calling Newberry the Indians. Now they're the Wolves, so I might slip up occasionally. And there's a shot by Galassi. That's going to left. Is that going to go out? Absolutely. Opposite field home run by Drew Galassi. Wow, that was an impressive shot there. And I said something about the Bears trying to get a run back quickly, and that was about as quick as it could have been, as the leadoff batter for the Bears ties the score. So, home run by Drew Galassi, and an impressive one over the pines out there, and the pines or cedars, whatever they are, some sort of evergreen. There in left field. And a pretty impressive shot from the Bear center fielder from Peoria, Illinois, and Western Illinois University. Good friend of mine, Charlie Fisher, who used to coach here football in Lenoir-Rhyne in the 80s, was the head Josh Schnepper of Newberry. And that's high and fairly deep also, but that one looks like it might be playable, and it is right back on the warning track, right to the fence. And after Galassi's shot, Will Jones flirted with a home run of his own, but instead, it's just a pretty loud. So this will be his first at-bat of the day. He stands in, bats left from High Point, North Carolina. And he takes ball one from Josh Snepper. Snepper comes set. And here's the pitch. And there's a high fly. Boy, left fielder's getting some business out there here in the bottom of the first as he puts a glove up and makes a catch. So 3 fly balls to left. 1 leaves the park. 2 are caught. And it's 2 outs now with E.J. Rennell standing in for the Bears. Rennell DHing today as he did in Game 2, as he did in Game 1. Was the leadoff hitter, though, in Game 1. Had a hit and an RBI for the Bears in the first game. Let's see what E.J. can do here. And there's a pitch, and he's going to ground just foul to the third baseman. Just bounced foul before it got to the bag. So Rennell in an 0-1 hole here. Josh Snepper comes set for Newberry. And here's the pitch. And there's a swing and a miss. Nice job for the Wolves starting pitcher here. Rennell quickly in an 0-2 count. 2 outs. Solo home run by Drew Galassi has gotten the Bears tied at 1. We're early. Still the first inning. Game 2 of our doubleheader. Here's the pitch. And Rennell pops this one up. Wow, is it going to be an all left field day here in inning 1? He comes in and makes a good catch. The shortstop kind of stopped there, and I'm not sure that the left fielder for the Wolves, Nick Butler, kind of had to make a late run to grab that one. So 4 fly balls to left for the Bears. 3 of them were outs, but one of them was a home run by Drew Galassi, and the Bears tie this one up at 1 as we head to the top of the second. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. And we'll start at the top of the second. Bears tied here with Newberry 1-1, and it seems fitting that Nick Butler will lead the inning off. He recorded all 3 outs for Newberry in the bottom of the first. That after watching an opposite field home run by Drew Galassi fly over his head, and he stands in against Tanner Moyers here to lead off the second. Ball 1. Butler, as I mentioned, busy in the last half. He was 1 for 3, had a couple RBIs in Game 1. And he takes ball 2 from Moyers. So Moyers in a little bit of a hole to Butler here. And he'll square up to pitch. And here it comes. And there's a little chop foul down the third base line and over the brick wall just into the Mauser's yard. 4 strike 1. Count now 2-1 to Nick Butler facing Tanner Moyers of the Bears. Everyone seems set. And Moyers with a pitch. And that is a shot right to Xander for Linda. Nice job by Xander. That was a line shot, and looked like it might have gotten to him a little quicker than he thought, Xander, but hung with it and made a nice play for the first out here in the top of the second. Kenny Bergman steps in. Kenny pinch hit late in game 1. He is catching here in game 2. And after my general comment early in game 1, it wouldn't surprise me if Kenny Bergman is a good runner on the base paths. Bergman takes strike 1. He struck out in his only appearance in the top of the 7th back in game 1. And takes strike 2 here. So the Newberry catcher in a hole facing Tanner Moyers. Moyers like to get this out. Has to be careful though. And here's the pitch. And a little bit low. Count goes to 1-2. Bergman stands in, 1 away here. Game tied at 1. We're early. It's just the top of the second here in game 2 of our doubleheader. And here's a pitch by Moyers. A little bit of a hesitation. And there's a third strike. It's a little bit of hesitation there by Moyers on the mound. He pulled his leg up and kind of stopped a little bit. And that might have gotten Bergman a little out of whack before Moyers came to the plate. But nice job. Moyers' first strikeout of the game, and it's 2 away in the top of the second. Zane Terrence, center fielder for Newberry, at the plate, and he takes strike 1. Terrence was also in center in game 1, was hitless in 3 at-bats, was hit by a pitch back in the second against Josh Lanham, but was stranded on base, and there's strike 2. So after getting in a little bit of a spot in the first inning, Moyers seems to have corralled his energy and looks pretty sharp here in the second. He's ahead 0-2 to Zane Terrence. 2 outs here. And there's that little hesitation. And there's a foul tip off the plate or the batter. Nonetheless, count will remain 0-2. Mike McHugh grabs the ball and gets it back to Tanner. He retreats to his spot at third. And here we go to Zane Terrence. Moyers with the pitch. And just barely got a piece of that one. Bryce Stover picks it up. Might have hit the umpire there. Stover checks back with him to make sure he's okay. And now looks into the dugout for the pitch. And relays that to Tanner Moyers. 0-2 the count, 2 outs here. Moyers pitches to Terrence, and that's a fly to the right. I don't know if it's going to stay in play. It does. Will Jones makes a great effort over there to try to get to it, but has to take a slide early so he didn't hit the wall. And the ball bounces foul. And the count remains 0-2 to Zane Terrence. Moyers, I'm sure he'd like a 1-2-3 inning here. After it had cooled down a bit, seems to be heating back up here in Hickory. Terrence stands in, and here's the pitch. And there's a shot to second base. Kuda makes a play and goes to first, and has to dig a little bit over there at first base for Topher Grant, but he makes a grab, and the Bears retire. Tanner Moyers retires the side here in the top of the second for Lenoir-Rhyne. We'll head to the bottom half with this game tied 1-1. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. We'll be right back. And we head into the bottom of the second here at Durham Field. Lenoir-Rhyne Bears hosting Newberry. South Atlantic Conference doubleheader. Newberry, of course, a longtime foe and rival for Lenoir-Rhyne, two ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America schools in the South Atlantic Conference. In football, they play for the Bishop's Trophy. And in baseball, the Bears trying to salvage a split here on day 2 of a 4-game series with Newberry, as Newberry took both games yesterday, both in extra innings. Xander Ferlinda steps in to face Josh Stepper. And here's the pitch. And first pitch goes to third, and nice play by the third baseman. Is he going to be able to get? Yes, he does. Wow, that was a nice play there at third by Aiden Bauer. He went to the ground sliding out of bounds, or sliding, foul with the ball. Was able to turn around and get Ferlinda by a step there at first base. So great play at third. Retires Ferlinda. And Bryce Stober comes to the plate. Nick Butler. And the Bears have kept him on their toes, but he has been tall for the task for the Wolves so far, as really looked like Stober was going to have a nice single there. And a shoestring catch by Butler ends those hopes. So 2 quick outs, and Wade and quickly Kuda in a hole 0-2. It's early. Score's tied. It was a pitch. And a foul back by Kuda. Stays alive. Counts 1-2 still. Important game for the Bears in the South Atlantic Conference standings. The top 8 teams make it to the conference tournament. Bears were 6 heading into the day and lost the opener. So really desperately in need of a win right here. And Kuda fouls that one off as well. Stays alive with a 1-2 count and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. And fouls another one off. Kuda 0 for 2 in game 1. Did walk, but was forced at second base on a fielder's choice. So he is looking for his first hit today. Facing Newberry pitcher Josh Stemper. Kuda stands in. And here's a pitch. And there's a foul. Stemper pretty deliberate there on the mound, much as Josh Lanham was back in game 1. Unfortunately for Josh, control got away from him a little bit. Let's hope the same happens for Josh Dever here. And there's a pitch. Ball low, so nice at bat for Kuda. He's making Stemper work. Counts now 2-2. But the Newberry starter's thrown well more than 4 pitches in this one. Kuda ready. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and Kuda goes down swinging. So, much as Tanner Moyers in the top half, Josh Stemper gets the Bears 1-2-3 in the bottom half, and we'll head to the third with the score tied 1-1. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bear Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. We'll be right back.
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting football season. Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
And we're back here at Durham Field, top of the third inning, Lenoir-Rhyne and Newberry, as Newberry will come to the plate. Leading off, the ninth place hitter, Dalton Lansdowne for Newberry's second base. Here, as he was in game one, Lansdowne was 2 for 3 in game one, scored a run. Caught stealing by Bryce Stober back in the fifth. So, as I had mentioned, Newberry pretty aggressive on the base paths in game one, and Stober was able to nail Lansdowne trying to steal in that game. And Newberry's second baseman steps in here to face Tanner Moyers. And there's a first pitch strike from Moyers. Moyers got up a lead-off single in the first. Bales then came around to score on a double by Aiden Bauer, but had a nice 1-2-3 inning in the second. Let's see if he can repeat that here in the third. And there's a little chopper off the third baseline. And quickly, Dalton Lansdowne is in a hole 0-2 against the Bears' Tanner Moyers. Moyers looks ready. He's waiting on Lansdowne. And gets the call from Stober. And here's the pitch. And that's a ball, I guess, just off the plate for ball one. So the count now goes to 1-2. Tied at 1 here, top of the third. Tanner Moyers on the hill for the Bears. And here's the pitch, and that was in the dirt. Count goes to 2-2. A little bit of heavier clouds when we started this doubleheader, and it's turned into a beautiful day. Still a few clouds floating around, but mostly blue sky. And just a nice spring day. As that ball's up, can Topher Grant get to it? And he does. So nice play there by Topher Grant as he catches the foul ball off the bat of Dalton Lansdowne. We go back to the top of the order for Newberry with Zachary Bales. Bales singled in the first to lead off the first, came around to score, as I had mentioned, on a double by Aiden Bauer. So he'll step in for the second time, facing Tanner Moyers. And here's a pitch. And that looks inside. 4-1. Moyers comes set. Here's the pitch. And a little slow grounder to third, fielded by Mike McHugh, and he makes a nice throw to first. And quickly, 2 outs for Newberry, as Moyers will now face Luke Orr. Orr did some damage against the Bears in game one, as I mentioned. 2 for 4, scored a run. Sacrifice bunt here in the first inning to move Bales over. Bales eventually scoring on the double from Aiden Bauer. So Moyers comes set, and here's the pitch to Orr, and that's in the dirt, ball 1. It's just not in the dirt, but I honestly have little experience with turf and baseball, so I'm used to dirt and grass, even though it's not really either. I may refer to them as such. And here's the pitch, and that one also low, ball 2. I guess I could call it the brown and the green. That ball's in the brown. That fly ball went to the green. Maybe we can do that. Here's a pitch from Moyers. And a strike to Luke Orr. 2-1 the count now. 2 outs. Game's tied at 1. Moyers trying to get his second consecutive 1-2-3 inning here, facing the Wolves. 4 is set. And here's the pitch from Moyers. And there's a ground ball to second, fielded by Kuda, and an easy throw to first, and that will retire Newberry 1-2-3. So nice job by Tanner Moyers. Quickly get through the third and give the Bears a chance to come back and get some runs on the board. So we'll head to the bottom half with the score tied 1-1. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. And we had the bottom half of the third inning here at Durham Field. Bears tied with Newberry 1-1. Bears fell 6-3 in game one. So looking for a split here on a pretty Sunday afternoon in Hickory. Wind's picked up some. Looks like it's blowing out. And that might be advantageous to Mike McHugh, who lines one up the middle for a solid single on the first pitch here in the bottom of the third. So McHugh reaches on a solid single to center. And maybe the Bears can get something started here. In the bottom half of the order, Topher Grant steps in. Topher starting at first base here in game two, did not play in game one. So this will be his first at-bat of the day. And he has Mike McHugh on first. And a chance to get something going here for the Bears. Josh Stemper on the mound for Newberry, and here's a pitch to Grant, and that's high ball one. Stemper, after giving up a leadoff home run in the bottom of the first to Drew Galassi, had retired 6 straight until that point, and there's another solid single to left, and Bears are going to have something going here. First and second with no outs, and we move to the top of the order. So back-to-back singles for Lenoir-Rhyne, and they've got something cooking with Drew Galassi coming to the plate, and he hit a long opposite field home run to lead off the bottom of the first for the Bears. Let's see if he can duplicate that here. Galassi had hit in game one also. Was also hit by a pitch twice. Newberry, third baseman's in here at the corner. Middle infielders look like they're lined up to try to turn a double play if possible. Galassi squares the bunt but pulls it back, and that's ball one. Bears in a good spot here with 2 on and no outs. However, back in game one, they had had bases loaded, no outs early in the game, and were only able to push across 1 run, and that really probably came back to haunt them later. And there's squares the bunt again and takes ball 2. So Galassi looks down to third, gets some signals from Coach Ramirez. You never know if those are actually saying something or just phantom signals to throw off the opposing team. Either way, here's the pitch to Galassi and a big swing and a miss. There, count goes to 2-1. So the Bears center fielder, after showing bunt a couple of times, takes a big cut there and will take a 2-1 pitch from Josh Sneffer. Sneffer looks back at second, and here's a pitch, and Galassi squares again, and that's ball 3. So, Sneffer's probably being careful with Drew after watching the ball sail over the left field fence back in the first, but all of a sudden he's gotten himself in a little bit of a pickle here. 2 on, none out, and a 3-1 count to the Bears' leadoff hitter. Sneffer comes set, and here's the pitch. And there's a fly ball that Galassi got under it. It looks like it's going to be playable in center, which it is. And McHugh's going to try for third and comes in safely. So, Galassi flies out, but does move the runner over. McHugh, that is, from second to third. And so with 1 out, Bears have runners on the corners, and Will Jones steps to the plate. Will Jones flew out to left back in the first in an inning where all 4 batters for the Bears hit fly balls to left. Drew Galassi's went out of the park. Will Jones, Connor Smith, and E.J. Rennell, their fly balls to left were all caught by Nick Butler. So Jones will give it another try here with runners on the corners and 1 out. Bears threatening here. We're in a 1-1 ball game early. Oh, and a little check swing. Boy, that's going to be tough for Jones. Run scores, so nice job by Will at least to kind of slow things up and get McHugh across. But a little check swing hit the bat. And 2 outs now, but nice little strategy bear by Jones and some good base running by Mike McHugh give the Bears the lead here in the bottom of the third. So Bears up now 2-1. Topher Grant standing on second, and Connor Smith at the plate. Smith flew out to left in the first, as all 4 Bear batters hit it that direction in that particular inning. He stands in here with 2 outs and fouls this one back. Count goes to 1-1. So 1-1 now count. Josh Sneffer in a little bit of trouble here. His second run of the game so far, and Connor Smith would like to make it 3. And ball's a little bit high. Ball 2. Bears trying to salvage a split here in this doubleheader with Newberry. Newberry took both games yesterday, so almost a must-win needed situation here for Lenoir-Rhyne. Sneffer comes set. Topher Grant at second. And here's the pitch to Smith, and that is popped up, and it's going to be well out of play. Over just to the left of the Bears dugout, bullpen. And the count now 2-2 to the Lenoir-Rhyne left fielder. So Connor Smith stands in, and here's the pitch. And there's a shot to center on the run there, but right to the warning track, and that just goes to the fence. So another pretty loud out for the Bears, but an out nonetheless. However, pair of singles by the Bears, and an unfortunate little dribbler off the bat of Will Jones gets Lenoir-Rhyne a run as they take the lead 2-1 will head to the top of the fourth with that score. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bear Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. So we're headed to the top of the fourth. Bears lead Newberry here in game 2 of our doubleheader, 2-1. Jack Harris will step in for the Wolves. Harris in right field in game 2, as he was in game 1. Popped out to the second baseman back in the first inning. And we'll see what he can do against Tanner Moyers, who's kind of settled in for the Bears. Here's the pitch. And there's a ball. I suppose that had to have been outside a little bit. As I mentioned in game 1, from my vantage point, I can tell if a pitch is high or low, but I can't tell if it's on the inside or outside of the plate. Here's the pitch from Moyers. And there's a line single down to, well, it might not be a single. He gets into the corner in left field. And Harris will stand in with a stand-up double to lead off the fourth. It's a nice shot. It's got past the glove of Mike McHugh there at third and rolled to the corner. Connor Smith got it in quickly, but Harris with plenty of time to turn that into a double. And that will bring Aiden Bauer to the plate. Bauer, with a double of his own today, drove in Newberry's only run to this point. Let's hope that remains the same as Tanner Moyers looks in to face the Newberry third baseman. Moyers comes set. Here's the pitch. And there's a shot to right. Will Jones on his horse. That's going to get back to the fence and right up against it. Jones plays it with the bounce. Nice play off the fence. But for the second time today, Aiden Bauer strikes with an RBI double. And Newberry has quickly tied this game 2-2. So the Bears' one-run lead was short-lived. And Aiden Bauer has been the Newberry offense to this point here in game 2. So Bauer stands at second, his second RBI double of the day. And Tanner Moyers will face Colin Allman, the Newberry shortstop. Nobody out here, runner on second for Newberry. Newberry's tied it up 2-2. Allman squares the bunt but pulls it back, and that's ball 1. So both teams driving the ball in the outfield here in game 2. Drew Galassi with a home run for the Bears. It's the only ball to have left the park, knock on wood. Here we go. Tanner Moyers with the pitch. Runner goes for third, and that's fouled off at the plate. So Bauer took off, and I think would have made it. That was going to be a tough pitch for Stober to handle and try to get a runner out at third. So the batter's screening you, and wasn't going to be an easy pitch to catch and throw. Counts 1-0. Excuse me, I was going to say it should be 1-1, which it is. And Moyers will come set, and they try to go back, catch Bauer off the base. Kuda applies the tag, but the runner was safe. And we'll go back to where we were. waiting for the pitch call from Stover. Likes it, nods his head. And here he comes to the plate. Allman squares the bunt again, and that one's a strike. Pulled his bat back, but it was a good pitch by Moyers. And Allman now in the hole, 1-2. No one out here. Newberry with a runner on second. RBI double for Aiden Bauer. His second of the day has tied the score at 2. And Moyers looking to stop the damage here. And he scoots back, turns towards second. Kuda steps over, but Bauer's back easily. There was no throw. And Moyers will go back to concentrating on Colin Allman, the Newberry shortstop. Looks in, now comes set. And Moyer steps off. Kuda rushed over to second. Bauer sort of stood where he was. And Moyers decided just to step off the rubber and start over again. As I'd mentioned, Newberry not afraid to take off and run. They did in game 1, and they have here some in game 2. And there's another pitch back. And did they get him? No. Boy, was that close. Wow, and a nice 360 in the air from Wade Kuda. He thought he had him, and it was pretty close. Bears had a play like that back in game 1 where they were almost certain there was a pickoff, and the umpire thought otherwise. So 1-2 still to count, nobody out. And here's a pitch from Moyers, and that's low, ball 2. So 2-2 as the Bears pitcher, Tanner Moyers, and the Newberry runner, Aiden Bauer, in a little bit of a cat and mouse here. Moyers comes set. And there's going to be another throw back to second and safe again. That one not quite as close as the last one. But Moyer is certainly aware of Bauer there on second base. We're in the top of the 4th. This was a 9-inning game. Game 1 was a 7-inning game. So, we're getting in the middle innings here. And Newberry has shown they can score some runs. So Moyers knows it's important to keep Bauer there at second. And here's the pitch, and that's fouled back by Allman. So the count remains 2-2. To the Wolves shortstop. And Tanner Moyer steps on the rubber and gets set. He's thrown back to second a few times here. See how they handle this. And just kind of feigns an attempt there. Very conscious of Bauer. And again, the score's tied 2-2, but as we get in the middle innings, you don't want to give the Wolves too many chances. Nobody out still. Here's the pitch. And that was a balk. I was looking at the plate, and I wondered why Allman just stood there and took a perfect pitch, but there was a reason, I guess. And a balk by Tanner Moyers. Puts Aiden Bauer now on third base with nobody out. Allman steps in to face Moyers, 2-2, and there's a slice to right field, and Jones makes a play. Are they going to send a runner? They are. Here's the throw from right, and it's not going to be in time. And a sac fly. From Colin Allman. Drives in Aiden Bauer. So the Bears record an out, but also give up a run in that sequence. And the Newberry Wolves, retake the lead here 3-2. Nick Butler steps to the plate. He's been very busy in left field. Let's see how he does here. Hit a line shot right to Xander Ferlinda back in the second. In his only at bat so far in game 2. Takes a strike here. 1 out. Newberry leads 3-2. And takes a ball there. Count goes to 1-1. Bears recognized 15 seniors today, as here's the pitch from Moyers. And that was a little high and outside. Ball 2. Bears recognized 15 seniors today before game 1. And, of course, with the year that has been due to COVID, the NCAA waving on some eligibility and season of competition rules. And I imagine some of that 15 may return for what is really kind of a free year of eligibility that the NCAA has allowed, and rightfully so, I think, just in fairness to the student athletes. Last spring was kind of shut down in mid-season for the spring sports, and of course this year they're getting to play, but from game to game and day to day, you don't know. Someone may test positive, a team may have to postpone because of positive tests or exposures or whatever. Lenoir-Rhyne softball played this past Thursday at Lincoln Memorial for the first time in 16 days. So even though they're playing, it's been kind of a haphazard year, as count full to Nick Butler. 1 out, nobody on. 2 runs in, though, for Newberry. And there's a ground ball, too, for Linda. Feels it cleanly. Kind of a funny hop. Is he going to be able to get on there? No, not in time. Ball kind of played him. He had to sort of wait for it on the hop, did for Linda. And the throw just wasn't quite in time. So an infield single for Nick Butler. And Newberry back at it with a runner on and only 1 out. Bears trail here 3-2. 2 runs here in the top of the 4th have gotten them there. And Tanner Moyers really not throwing badly. A couple of doubles by Aiden Bauer, and other than that, has pitched pretty well. But finds himself in a 3-2 hole, and Newberry with another runner on. And he takes off Stover with a throw, and that's going to be a little bit late. Ooh, that was close. A little bit late, but Butler goes in cleanly to second. So the stolen base by the Newberry left fielder now has a runner scoring position with Kenny Bergman at the plate. Bergman behind the plate for Newberry here in game 2. Ian Clements caught game 1. And Bergman here in game 2. Bears kept with their regular catcher, Bryce Stover. And he catches a strike on the pitch from Moyers. And the count's now 1-1. Moyers in a little bit of a pickle here. He's already given up a couple runs this inning, trying to keep Nick Butler second. And here's the pitch. Butler's going to third, and there's a drive to right. And Will Jones makes the catch. He gets the ball back in quickly as Butler has to scurry back to second. And there are 2 outs. So nice job by Will Jones in right, as Butler was taken off with a pitch, so he was well committed to third when the ball came off the bat of Bergman, and he had to scurry back quickly to second as Will Jones got the ball in. And now there are 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Nick Butler on second, single and stole a base. Moyers will face Zane Terrence, Newberry center fielder. Game 2 of our doubleheader. Newberry won the first one 6-3 after taking a pair from the Bears yesterday. So the Bears trying to salvage a split here on Sunday. Here's Moyers with the pitch, and there's a ground ball. Verlander makes a catch, and nice job there by Xander Verlinda. Boy, tough catch and really moving away from first, but is able to make the throw and get Terrence by a step or 2. So Newberry strikes for a couple here in the top of the 4th and lead 3-2. We'll head to the bottom half with the Bears coming to the plate. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. We'll be right back.
Everett Chevrolet Buick GMC is ready for another exciting football season. Everett has been a proud sponsor of the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears for 25 years, and we wish the Bears a safe and successful season. And August means it's all systems go for another winning season with the Carolina Panthers. We have a tradition of winning in the Carolinas, and when you want to be a winner in the car, truck, or SUV game, come see the sales and service champions at Everett, because if you didn't get an Everett deal, you dropped the ball, baby. Woo!
I knew that there was an opportunity to have my college paid for if I was good enough to play baseball at that level. That was going to make a big difference in my family. D2 baseball gave me an opportunity to play at a high level and to get an education that's going to be valuable for me throughout the rest of my life. I chose to take my experience of being a student athlete and pursue that within my career and to get a master's degree. If I wouldn't have had a baseball scholarship, there'd be no chance that I'm doing what I'm doing today.
And we're here in the bottom of the fourth at beautiful Durham Field as the Bears hosting Newberry today. Game 2 of our doubleheader. E.J. Rennell will lead off for Lenoir-Rhyne. He was the third of 3 fly ball outs to left field back in the first. A fourth fly ball to left off the bat of Drew Galassi left the park for the Bears' first run. Got another run in the third, but a couple runs here by Newberry in the top of the fourth have the Bears trailing 3-2, and Rennell swings at the first pitch and kind of awkward all around and is thrown out by the second baseman, Dalton Lansdowne. Seemed like an awkward ball off the bat. Newberry pitcher Josh Steffer sort of make an awkward stab at it, and kind of an awkward grab and throw by Lansdowne. So awkward all around, but Newberry is able to record out, and Xander Ferlinda steps in for the Bears. Nice play in the field to end the top of the fourth for Newberry. As Ferlinda made a sliding grab and throw for the third out, stands in here for his second at bat and takes ball 1. Grounded out to third in his first at-bat back in the second inning. So Xander looking for a hit here, try to get something started for the Bears. Here's a pinch from Stemper, and that, too, is a ball. Xander had a hit and scored a run back in game 1. So looking to get something started here for Lenoir-Rhyne in the bottom of the fourth. Stamper, here's a pitch, and that is strike 1. The young Newberry right-handers pitched pretty well so far. Only has 1 strikeout, but on 3 hits, and really the home run from Galassi. Here's a pitch, and that's going to be popped way up. Third baseman's going to make the play. Pitcher just kind of turned around and walked off the mound and wait for his infielder to make that grab, as Hayden Bauer does. And quickly 2 outs for Lenoir-Rhyne. Bryce Stober steps in. He flew out to left back in the second inning. A lot of flyouts to left for the Bears here in game 2. And he will step in to face Stemper for the second time. Stober had a hit back in game 1 as he used great hustle to beat out a sacrifice bunt and reach. 1-0 the count. Here's a pitch from Stemper, and a little bit inside on Stober, ball 2. Two outs here. No one on for the Bears. Trailing 3-2 here in the bottom of the fourth. And Stemper comes set. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that came off the mask of the umpire. And Stover steps out. Newberry catcher runs the ball down. I imagine with two catchers at the plate, one behind the plate, one at the plate, they'll give the umpire a little bit of time. Stover steps out and kind of slowly steps back in. And things seem ready. And Stemper will come set to face Bryce Stover down the count 2-1. Here's a pitch. And there's a ground ball just foul off Bryce's bat. And the count will go to 2-2. Just missed there. Newberry third baseman playing close to the line. If it would have been fair, it's possible he could have made a play, but as we learned in game one, Stover can run. Here's a pitch from Stemper, and that one's well low. Count runs full, 3-2. So full count here, nobody on for the Bears as the moment of truth, in this at bat at least, for Bryce Stover. As he steps in, count is full. Josh Stemper comes set for Newberry. And here's the pitch. And foul back. And Stover stays alive as that one makes its way across the street and slowly rolls down the gutter. And we'll do it all over again. Full count here. 2 outs, bottom of the fourth. And here's the pitch from Stemper. And a little chop swing by Stover. He's getting down the line as he showed in game one, and not quite this time as he is thrown out at first. So the Bears go 1-2-3. Stover can't quite beat that one out. And we'll head to the top of the fifth with Newberry leading 3-2. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. And we head to the top of the fifth here. Lenoir-Rhyne Bears hosting Newberry, South Atlantic Conference doubleheader. We have a new pitcher on the hill for the Bears. Joey Cobb comes in relief of Tanner Moyers. Cobb, a freshman out of Denver of the East to Denver, North Carolina, and North Lincoln High School. Moyers, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs. Did not walk a batter, struck out 1, and leaves the game trailing 3-2. So Cobb looking to keep that margin and give the Bears a chance in the bottom of the 5th to get back, tie this game, or go ahead. Cobb, a left-hander. Here's a pitch, and there's a strike. Dalton Lansdowne, the second baseman for Newberry, stands in. Hit a high pop foul to Topher Grant over at first, back in the 3rd inning, in his only other appearance in this game. Lansdowne had a couple of hits back in game 1, scored a run. And it counts 1-1 as Joey Cobb faces Lansdowne. Here's the pitch. And foul back. Count goes to 1-2. Bears need a win. There's really not any other way to say it. 22-17 right now, 18-13 in the conference, but have dropped 3 already to Newberry this weekend, in desperate need of a split with the conference tournament looming. A little bit outside, and the count goes to 2-2 on Lansdowne. Joey Cobb facing his first batter of the game as he has come on in relief of Tanner Moyers. And here's a pitch. And a swing and a miss. So dropped, and Stover scoops it up and tags out Lansdowne. So nice start for Joey Cobb as he strikes out Lansdowne, leading off the 5th. And we'll go back to the top of the order. Zachary Bales, steps in. He singled and scored back in the 1st on a RBI double by Aiden Bauer, the first of 2 for him, and then grounded out to 3rd in the 3rd. Faces Joey Cobb for the first time. 1 away here, top of the 5th. Newberry's leading 3-2, and that pitch is low, ball 1. Nice day in Hickory. Other than a brief spell of cooled down quite a bit for a brief spell. It's been nice spring day. 1-1 the count now to Zachary Bales. As Joey Cobb faces his second batter of the day, and there's a nice strike, and Cobb gets ahead 1-2. 1 out, nobody on. We're in the top of the 5th. This game's scheduled for 9. Game 1 was a 7-inning contest. And here's a pitch from Cobb. And that's strike 3. Dover had the ball come out of his mitt, but throws to Grant easily. And that will be that for Zachary Bales. So a couple of strikeouts to start things off for the Bears reliever, Joey Cobb. And he will face Luke Orr now. Orr, a couple of hits back in game 1. Had a sacrifice in the 1st inning to push Bales to 2nd. Grounded out to 2nd, his second at bat, and takes a strike here from Joey Cobb. So Cobb has come in throwing strikes. And with 2 out, we'll try to set down Luke Orr and get the Bears back to the plate. Here's the pitch. And that's a ground ball to Kuda. Feels it cleanly to his left, and an easy throw out for the second time today. Luke Orr grounds out to Wade Kuda at second base, and Newberry is retired. 3 up, 3 down, couple of strikeouts for Joey Cobb, and we head to the bottom of the 5th with the Bears trailing 3-2. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. And Wade Kuda steps in for the Bears. He assisted on the last out in the top half of the fifth. Will lead off here in the bottom half. Struck out in the second. We'll see what he can do against Josh Stepper, who is still on the mound for Newberry. And there's a pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. Stepper's pretty well for Newberry. Gave up a run in the first and one in the third. Only 3 hits for Lenoir-Rhyne. Only 1 strikeout, but control's been pretty good for Stepper. The right-hander for Newberry. He's retired 6 straight for the Bears. We'll see if Kuda can end that here at the count 1-1. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. So it looked like Kuda maybe chased a couple low here in this at-bat. See if he can settle in. Semper now, though, with the advantage. They had 1-2 in the count. Nobody out. It's the first batter of the bottom of the fifth. And here's the pitch. And that ball's high, ball 2. Track meet has ended up on the field above us. So I think we're the only game on campus right now. Here's a pitch from Semper. And a little reach out dribbler to second. That's going to be a tough play, and he gets down the line and is safe. Nice hustle by Wade Kuda. Just ball came off the end of his bat, but it was just at the speed and the spot where it was going to be a tough play for the Newberry infield. And good hustle by Kuda and an infield single. As the Bears with a runner on and no outs, and Mike McHugh comes to the plate. Mike singled in his first at-bat, came around to score on sort of a, check swing roller off the bat of Will Jones. McHugh try to get his second hit of the day off of Josh Stepper. A little action down the Newberry bullpen. There's a left-hander up throwing. Too far for me to see who, but and that ball comes out. Kuda thought about it, but nice recovery there by Kenny Bergman, the Newberry catcher. So that holds Kuda at first, and the count is 1-0 to Mike McHugh. McHugh, a junior from Winston-Salem, via Presbyterian College, former South Atlantic Conference member and rival, and about a rock's throw from Newberry. And there's a pitch. Boy, they almost caught Kuda leaning. Oof. Might have gotten a little lucky there. But the Bears' second baseman gets back. And the count remains 1-0 with Mike McHugh standing in. Here's a pitch from Stepper. Well, at some point. And he throws back over to first. Can't get ahead of myself. He does have other things to think about now other than the batter in the box. So a little more deliberate here on the mound in those situations. Stepper comes set. And here's the pitch. And there's a shot just foul down the left field line. Nice cut for McHugh, but just foul. And the count goes to 1-1 to the Bears' third baseman. Kuda at first. He's a sophomore out of Winter Park High School in Orlando, Florida. Played at Indian River Community College. And there's a throw back. Kuda safe easily. And Stepper, in a one-run ball game, wants to keep Kuda honest. Comes set. Here's the pitch. And McHugh takes a strike. That's 1-2. Nods his head a little bit like, yeah, I might have missed that one. So advantage now, Josh Stepper, as he's ahead in the count 1-2. One man on for the Bears, nobody out. Bears trail 3-2, bottom of the fifth. And here's the pitch. Well, but outside, count goes to 2-2. Bergman came up like he thought about throwing back to first, but no real threat there as Kuda was already stepping back towards the bag. And Mike McHugh, 2-2 count to face Josh Stepper. And Stepper goes back to first. Ball high, no real chance there to get Kuda. He dove back safely. Sun's starting to get a little bit bright behind my right shoulder, which means it could be a little bit of trouble for the outfielders particularly. So keep that in mind. And there's another throw back to first. I'd say particularly center, maybe right. Left field might not be quite as bad just on the sun angle. 2-2 the count to McHugh. Here's a pitch. Kuda's going. And he's going to have to scramble back. The ball is going to be played by the third baseman. So, ball came off the bat of McHugh. Kuda had already committed to go to second and had to quickly scramble back. The Bears dugout with energy, encouraging him to do so. And Topher Grant will step in to face Josh Stepper. One out here, bottom of the fifth. Grant singled in the first, or excuse me, in his first at bat. That was back in the third. Was stranded as the inning ended. And will face Stepper for a second time. Stepper goes back to first in his little battle with Wayne Kuda on the base paths. But he also has to worry about Topher Grant at the plate. Stepper comes set. And here's the pitch. And strike one. I may have missed something possibly, but it seems like Stepper hasn't gone to first 2 times in a row. Typically throw to first, then pitch. So maybe the Bears have picked up on that. Stepper comes set. And here's a pitch. Grant seemed a little bit out in front on that one, and the count goes to 0-2. We're in the middle innings here, top of the fifth. Bears trying to salvage a doubleheader, a split in today's doubleheader. They trail 3-2, so certainly well within striking distance, not out of it by any means. And pitch goes over to first. So Kuda, still a distraction for the Newberry pitcher, Josh Stepper. And Kuda gets a lead, and here's the pitch, and a little ground ball off the bat of Grant. That's going to be fielded by the second baseman. And out 2. Kuda able to scurry to second. Lansdowne's only throw was to first, as it was a pretty slow roller. So 2 outs, but the Bears with a runner in scoring position, and we'll go to the top of the order, and Drew Galassi. Drew homered in his first at bat to lead off the Bears' first, bottom of the first. Sac fly to move a runner over back in the third. And he will face Josh Stepper for the third time here today. Wade Kuda on second. And ball 1. Guess he got hit by a couple of pitches there in game 1. Had a hit in that game and then plucked a couple of times. And here's the pitch from Stepper. And that's a little bit up and outside, I guess, for ball 2. Bears second baseman, Wade Kuda, in scoring position for Lenoir-Rhyne, but there are 2 outs. Bears trail here 3-2. Stepper set to throw. Here's a pitch and a big swing by Galassi. And that's strike one. Newberry doesn't seem quite as distracted by Kuda. The second baseman's playing well out into the field with the left-handed batter. Here's a pitch to Galassi, and there's a long fly ball to right. That could be out of here, everyone, and oh my goodness. Not sure where it went, but it was over close to the LLC, I'll tell you that. And so the second home run of the day by Drew Galassi, and the Bears now lead 4-3. Wow, what a shot. First home run was the opposite field. This one to right and long. So, hot, powerful bat by Drew Galassi puts the Bears back in front 4-3. As Kuda trots across to score as well. And with 2 outs, Bears now lead the Newberry Wolves. We're in the bottom of the 5th as Will Jones steps in and takes strike one. Had a real great hustle double back in game 1. Chopper went over the third baseman's head, and it was kind of going to be a tough play for the left fielder, and heads up running by Will Jones. He never turned off the gas and got into second. Oh, and another little check swing. That's happened to him twice this game. This time it goes foul. First time the Bears were able to score a run on it, but it was an excuse me that I know Jones would have wanted back, and he probably wants that one back as well. But the Bears right fielder from Clayton, North Carolina, stands in now with an 0-2 count. Base is empty, but a 2-run home run by Drew Galassi has put the Bears back in front 4-3. Here's a pitch from Stemper, and that's low, ball 1. Will's played a lot of ball for the Bears. So, experienced hitter and fielder. Stands in, down 1-2 in the count. Here's the pitch from Josh Stemper. And that one's up in Jones's eyes. And Will steps out of the box to regroup a little bit as the count goes to 2-2. And Stemper comes set. And here's a pitch to Jones, and a nice shot to left. Is that going to get out? That is going to go also. So back-to-back home runs for the Bears as Will Jones drives one out to left field, and the Bears now lead 5-3 here in the bottom of the 5th. So bats coming alive a little bit for Lenoir-Rhyne, and grateful for that as they're all of a sudden getting to Josh Stemper here in the 5th. There's activity in Newberry's bullpen, and coach comes out of the dugout, and everyone gathers from the infield there at the mound. And it does look like there will be a pitching change for the Wolves. Stemper pitched well through 4, but the Bears have gotten to him here in the 5th. Single by Wade Kuda. He came around and scored on a 2-run home run by Drew Galassi, and now a solo shot by Will Jones in back-to-backs for the Bears. And Lenoir-Rhyne has taken a 5-3 lead. So Josh Stemper will head to the dugout, and we'll try to see who the new pitcher is for Newberry. It looks like number 46, if I can get to the next page of my roster. Connor Hanley Hodge, a freshman from Montreal, Quebec. So, maybe a little warmer here than he's used to in April. Nonetheless, Connor Hanley Hodge will come in relief of Josh Stemper. Jot this down on my scorebook. He'll face Connor Smith when the time comes. Connor flew out to left and flew out to center in his previous 2 at-bats, but will face Hanley Hodge for the first time as he tries to get things under control for the Wolves as the Bears have taken a 5-3 lead. Gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. Of course, the 2 home runs by Drew Galassi, the big blows there. Solo shot by Will Jones. And that was the end of the day for Josh Stemper. Hanley Hodge, left-hander, as I mentioned, out of Montreal, Canada, Montreal, Quebec. I wonder if he can speak French. I think Quebec is sort of the holdout province there in Canada, and maybe defaults to French as the native language there. The remainder of the country, I think, speaks more English. Nonetheless, Hanley Hodge will come to the plate, facing his first batter, Connor Smith, and a big swing and a miss, strike 1. Smith, as I mentioned, a couple flyouts in his first 2 at-bats, did not play in game 1. He's 3rd in the order here. And trying to keep things going for the Bears, but there's 2 outs. And that one a little bit in the dirt for Hanley Hodge, and the count goes to 1-1. 3-run inning here so far in the 5th for the Bears, as a 3-2 deficit has turned into a 5-3 lead. And looking for more here with 2 outs. Smith stands in, and there's a ground ball just past the first baseman, and it's going to be foul. Boy, that was close. That was real close. The umpire determined that the ball's foul as it went over the bag, and Smith will step back in. 1-2 the count, 2 outs, 3 runs across for Lenoir-Rhyne so far, as Hanley Hodge strikes out Connor Smith. So, Smith goes down to Hanley Hodge, the first batter he faced, but not. The Bears go into the dugout with a 5-3 lead, and we head to the 6th. So, you're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bear Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. We'll be right back.
I love being busy in my garden. I got flowers to plant and beds to clean out. When I was feeling really tired and not like myself, I saw a doctor. Look at me now. The doctors were good, they worked with me, and they laughed with me. I'm back to doing everything I love. I needed a doctor, and I found an expert for my heart.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
So we head to the top of the 6th with the Bears after a big bottom half of the 5th, now leading 5-3 over the Newberry Wolves. Game 2 on the second day of a 4-game series between the Bears and the Wolves. Newberry's won the first 3. Lenoir-Rhyne fighting to gain a split here on Sunday and get a win. Joey Cobb comes back to the hill for the Bears, and he will face Jack Harris. A little bloop out to second base, and quickly 1 out for the Wolves. Kuda drifting back to make that catch. And Harris goes back to the dugout with Aiden Bauer stepping in. Bauer, I guess the offensive hero so far for Newberry. Pair of RBI doubles. And scored a run. Here's a pitch from Cobb. And that's strike 1. Joey Cobb's coming in throwing strikes. Freshman from what we call here Denver of the East. Denver, North Carolina. They're off Lake Norman in Lincoln County. Cobb went to North Lincoln High School. Here's the pitch. And ball 1 to the Newberry third baseman. Cobb a left-hander, as is Bauer at the plate. Here's the pitch. And foul back. So Cobb jumps ahead, 1-2. Shakes off a pitch and will come with whatever the change was. And there's ball 2. 2-2 the count now. Moving into the latter half of the game here. In the top of the 6th. Cobb with a pitch. And that one's low and away. And the count runs full. First full count for Cobb. Struck out a pair back in the 5th. His first inning of work. And great control in that inning. First 3-ball count for him here. After an inning into the 3rd. And here's the pitch to Bauer. And fouled off. Imagine Cobb's aware that Bauer's done some damage today with his pair of RBI doubles. 1 out, nobody on. Bears want to keep this 5-3 lead. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Nice job by Joey Cobb. His 3rd strikeout in 5 batters. And 2 away now in the top of the 6th. Excuse me there. Colin Allman will step in for Newberry, shortstop. Flew out to center in the 1st. Had a sac fly to right back in the 4th. Newberry took a 3-2 lead in that inning. The Bears have since come back to take a lead of their own at 5-3. 2 outs here, nobody on. Pitch from Cobb, and there's a strike. Count goes to 1-1 for the young Bear left-hander as Colin Allman steps in for Newberry. Here's the pitch, and that was high. Ball 2. Bullpens are quiet. There's no real need to have somebody up in the Bears bullpen right now. Cobb doing a good job. And there's a shot to center. Is Galassi will be able to make the catch? And yes, he does. Probably looked like he may have lost it a little bit there in the sun. We mentioned how the sun was setting behind us, and that was going to maybe cause some problems for the outfield. But Galassi recovers to make the catch, and another 1-2-3 inning for Joey Cobb. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th with the Bears leading 5-3. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing.
Caution, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could.
Bottom of the sixth here at Durham Field on the campus of Lenoir-Rhyne University as the Bears, with a 5-3 lead, will send E.J. Rennell to the plate to face Connor Hanley Hodge. Hanley Hodge struck out the only batter he's faced so far. That was Connor Smith to end the fifth, but not before the Bears had scored 3 runs to take a lead. Rennell stands in to face the left-hander from Montreal, Quebec, and takes a strike. Rennell flew out to left in the first, grounded out to second, leading off the fourth, and will face Hanley Hodge for the first time. That pitch in the dirt, count goes to 1-1. Been a nice day here in Hickory. It'd be even nicer if the Bears could walk away with a win in this one, but quite a bit of baseball left to play. And there's a shot by Rennell. Looks like it's going to drop for a single, and it does. So nice job by E.J. Rennell, and the Bears get a leadoff runner on base again to lead off the bottom of the sixth. Fourth time in 6 innings that the Bears have had the leadoff runner on base, and each of the previous 3 times that runner has scored. So maybe a good sign for Lenoir. Of course, the leadoff runner in the first was Drew Galassi with a opposite field home run, so I don't know if he was ever really on base. He just trotted over the bases. Nonetheless, Xander Ferlinda steps in to face Connor Hanley Hodge. And there's a pitch and a big swing by Xander, but doesn't connect, and he's in the hole 0-1. Grounded out to third, and then flied out to the third baseman in his 2 previous at-bats. Here in Game 2. Did have a hit back in Game 1. But with Rennell on first for the Bears, I'm sure Xander would like to get a shot, and there he does, right up the middle, and the Bears in business here with 2 men on and none out in the bottom of the sixth. So back-to-back singles off the bats of E.J. Rennell and Xander Ferlinda. And Newberry has action in their bullpen. Bryce Stober steps in. Infield's playing in here. Stober laid down a beautiful sacrifice bunt in Game 1. It really turned into an infield single because with just great hustle down the base paths, Newberry was not able to get him at first. So an opportunity here for Stober. Newberry in at the corners. And there's another bunt by, and bobbled by, and a nice job. Hustle again by Stober, but Hanley Hodge bobbled that ball coming off the mound. And suddenly, LR's got bases loaded with no outs. I don't know how they will call that in the official scorebook. The old school bookkeeper in me would say that's an E1, but we'll let them make that determination. Nonetheless, the Bears have the bases loaded and nobody out with Wade Kuda at the plate. He singled his last time up and scored on the long home run by Drew Galassi, his second of the day. He fouls back the first pitch, and the count goes 0-1. Kuda stands in. Connor Hanley Hodge on the hill for Newberry. And there's a pitch, swing and a miss, quickly. Kuda in the hole 0-2. So Hanley Hodge in a bit of a pickle. More than a bit of a pickle. He's in a pickle with bases loaded and no outs. Bears had a couple opportunities like this in game one and weren't really able to cash in like they could have. So let's hope that doesn't happen here in game two. And there's a long shot by Kuda. Is it going to stay fair? And it's off the roof of the off the roof of the batting cage, and a grand slam for Wade Kuda. And suddenly the Bears have broken this game open. They lead now 9-3. Wow. A shot by Kuda there. And he clears the bases with the Bears' 4th home run of the day. Not sure if that'll be it for Connor Hanley Hodge, but it looks like it may be. Kenny Bergman and the rest of the infield trot out to give Hanley Hodge a pat on the back. I'm sure he's disappointed. Struck out the only batter he faced in the 5th, but was unable to record an out here in the 6th. And the Bears have pushed across 4 on a grand slam by Wade Kuda. So third pitcher of the day for Newberry, and we'll try to catch a number. Looks like it could be Jacob Jeffcoat, I believe, number 22. He's a senior out of West Columbia, South Carolina, so not far down the road from Newberry. And he will come in relief of Connor Hanley Hodge. Nobody out. And Mike McHugh scheduled to come to the plate for Lenoir-Rhyne. Looks like Jeffcoat's winding down on his warm-up throws. He steps off the mound. Scratches something in the non-dirt mound. Imagine something special for him. And it's cool when players have little things like that mean something to them, and they try to stay consistent and do the same things each game. So Jeffcoat will come set and face Mike McHugh. Mike Singleton scored back in the 3rd and popped out to the 3rd baseman in the 5th. After trailing 3-2, Bears with 7 runs in the last 2 innings and only now 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. So McHugh grounds out to second as Dalton Lansdowne makes a play there. And with 1 away, Topher Grant will come to the plate. Grant singled his first time up and then grounded out to second base in the 5th. Bears, quick strike here. 3 home runs in the last 2 innings and giving them a 9-3 lead, and there's a strike to Grant, a big blow. A grand slam off the bat of Wade Kuda to left off the roof of the batting cage just beyond the left field fence. And there's strike two to Topher Grant. Pair of home runs by Drew Galassi. 3 RBIs for him today and a solo shot by Will Jones. The Bears have pulled out the big sticks for this one and taken a 9-3 lead. Foul ball by Grant. Bounces off the facing of the Bears bullpen. And Jeffcoat comes set. Here's the pitch. And a shot by Grant. That's going to be in center field. Looks like it's playable, and it is. And that will be out, too. So Jeffcoat comes in and does his job. Retires the first 2 batters he faces. And we'll go back to the top of the order. Drew Galassi steps in. Pair of home runs for Drew today. 3 RBIs. Also had a sac fly back in the third that moved a runner over in scoring position. And he'll step in for the 4th time and has done some damage to the Newberry pitching staff. Here's the pitch, and there's a strike. Galassi, the 7th batter this inning for the Bears, but there's 2 outs, nobody on, thanks to the grand slam home run by Wade Kuda. And a little low and outside that one, and the count goes to 1-1. Jeffcoat comes set. Jacob Jeffcoat, 3rd pitcher for Newberry. And that one's a little low and away. 2-1 to count. So a couple of heartbreaking losses for the Bears yesterday, both in extra innings. And then a loss here in game 1. And they have bounced back, and you can tell there's some excitement in the Bears dugout as Galassi swings and misses there. Pitch was low, and he was out in front. Count goes to 2-2. So Jacob Jeffcoat with a chance to end this inning for Newberry and get out with only 4 runs, having crossed the plate. Jeffcoat comes set. And here's a pitch. And just got a piece of that, did Drew. And he will step back in for another shot at it. Dark cloud has kind of blocked the sun behind us, so it's cooled down a bit here in the last several minutes. And Galassi steps in, 2-2. Here's a pitch from Jeffcoat. Good eye for Galassi. That ball's outside and pretty close. Good eye there as he runs the count full. So the Bears center fielder looking for his 3rd hit of the day. If it's a home run, it'd be his 3rd home run. That would be nice. So the count's full. Jacob Jeffcoat. Here's the pitch. And there's a shot down right field. That looks like it's going to be at least 2. It gets down in the corner. Galassi takes a big turn and strides, and he's going to try for 3rd and is going to be safe easily. So Drew Galassi, what a day for him today. My goodness. So a pair of home runs and now a triple, 2-out triple. And he gets himself in scoring position, and maybe the Bears aren't done here in the 6th. Three for 3 for Galassi today. 3 RBIs and a couple of home runs. Sac fly, and now a triple in the 6th. So nice outing for Drew here against Newberry. Will Jones comes to the plate. And he pops one foul off to the right side. And that hits up there towards the hill where some fans are sitting. And it's 0-1 as Jacob Jeffcoat faces the Bears right fielder, Will Jones. Here's a pitch, and that's strike 2 to Will. Looks like a good pitch there from Jeffcoat. So 2 away now. Will Jones in a 0-2 hole. Drew Glassy standing on third after a 2-out triple. Bears trying to add a run here. They lead 9-3. Jeffcoat comes set, and here's the pitch. And just outside, I guess. Good eye by Will Jones. That pitch looked close. He has a better angle than I, though. And the count goes 1-2. Jeffcoat looks in, gets the pitch, and here it comes. And a foul ball over the left side up into one of Ms. Mauser's flower beds. And the count remains 1-2. Bears trying to salvage a split here on Sunday. Dropped a pair on yesterday. And lost game 1 here as Will Jones takes ball 2. Seven runs in the last 2 innings for the Bears. Have a chance to get another one here with Drew Galassi on third and Will Jones at the plate. As Jacob Jeffcoat comes set for Newberry. And that one's in the dirt. Now 3-2. So Jones in the hole 0-2 has been patient and fought back to run the count full here with 2 outs. And here's the pitch. And low, ball 4. So nice job by Will Jones. And the Bears will send their 9th batter to the plate here in the 6th. That will be Connor Smith. Connor hitless today, but has an opportunity to get a run home for Lenoir-Rhyne and build this margin against Newberry. Jacob Jeffcoat on the hill for the Wolves. Connor Smith, Bears left fielder, stands in. 2 outs here and a swing and a miss by Smith. Drew Glassy on third, Will Jones on first via walk. Glassy with a 2-out triple. So runners on the corners for Lenoir-Rhyne. Jeffcoat goes to first. Down 9-3, but I imagine they wouldn't want to give Jones a free ride to second and hit then potentially be 2 runs. Here's the pitch. And there's a shot to the second baseman. Boy, he's playing deep and took a one-hopper. Wow, that's a nice play there by Dalton Lansdowne as he was playing well into the field, facing Smith, and records the out. So the Bears go down here in the 6th, but not before 4 runs, thanks to a grand slam off the bat of Wade Kuda. So we head to the top of the 7th with the Bears leading 9-3. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. We'll be right back.
Celebrate great with Carolina West Wireless. Great new phones and a great customer experience, all on our great nationwide high-speed network. Stop by today and get big savings on select Samsung smartphones, like $350 off the Samsung Galaxy S20 and S20 Plus, and $350 off the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra. The great savings continue with 4 lines of unlimited data for just $35 a month per line. Celebrate great savings and go stay connected wherever your travels take you.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement
Top of the 7th here at Durham Field. at Lenoir-Rhyne University in Hickory. Dark cloud behind us has covered the sun and cooled things off a little bit. And Joey Cobb will start his third inning of work. He's gotten Newberry 6 up, 6 down so far. Let's see if he can continue that as he faces Nick Butler, the Wolves left fielder. Butler with a single and a stolen base, back in the fourth, lined out to Xander Ferlinda at short in the second. So he's 1 for 1 here in game 2, and will face Joey Cobb for the first time. Bears left-hander comes to the plate, and there's a pop foul, and it will be well out of play up into the parking area. Cobb ahead 0-1. Bears looking for a split. Have a 6-run advantage right now, but there's still quite a bit of baseball to play as we're just in the 7th. Ball there from Cobb. Runs the count to 1-1. Kenny Bergman on deck for Newberry. And there's a shot off the bat of Nick Butler, and Will Jones back there right at the warning track makes that catch for out 1. So a little bit of a noisy out to lead off the 7th, but Will Jones gets under it, and Joey Cobb has now retired 7 in a row. Kenny Bergman steps in, Newberry catcher. He struck out in the 2nd, flew out to right in the 4th. He will face Cobb also for the first time. And here's the pitch. And ball 1 low. Cobb out of Denver, North Carolina. As Bergman fouls that off, count goes to 1-1. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Bears lead 9-3. Pretty tight ball game. Bears actually trail 3-2 before a couple of home runs. And there's a shot, another one to right. So Will Jones will get another chance here and makes that catch for out 2. So Bears trail 3-2 heading into the bottom of the 5th. But a 2-run home run by Drew Galassi and a solo shot by Will Jones gave the Bears a 5-3 lead. And Wade Kuda broke the game open in the bottom of the 6th with a grand slam. So here we are, 2 outs, top of the 7th. Zane Terrence at the plate. No, correction. Looks like there's a pinch hitter for Newberry. That will be Braylon Marine. And he will step out. So Braylon Marine is pinch hitting and takes a strike from Cobb. We assume he's just pinch hitting. Zach Torrance, center fielder. Marine listed as an infielder, and he's quickly in the count 0-2. Marine, a junior from Freeport, New York. Wonder if he likes our season's warming up a little quicker down south. Here's a pitch and close, but Marine holds up, and the count goes to 1-2. 2 away here in the top of the 7th. Bears lead 9-3. Joey Cobb has really come in and shut Newberry down, helped the Bears get back in it. Cobb comes to the plate, and Marine just gets a piece of that and stays alive. Still down in the count 1-2. Tanner Moore started for the Bears. Didn't pitch poorly. 4 hits, 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, no walks. Did give up 3 runs, and Cobb came out to start the 5th and has pitched well since. 2-2 now the count to Braylon Marine, pinch hitting for Zane Torrance. At least we think. We'll have to see if Torrance returns to the field in the bottom half. Here's the pitch from Cobb, and that's low ball 3. So Cobb quickly ahead 0-2, has now run the count full. Throw back from Stover, gets past him. And Kuda scoops up and gets the ball back in. And the young Bear left-hander get resettled here and try to get Braylon Marine here on a full count. Here's a pitch from Cobb. And a swing and a miss, and he does. Nice job. Nice comeback for Joey Cobb there, and it's been 9 up, 9 down for the young left-hander for the Bears. So we go to the bottom of the seventh, with the Bears leading 9-3. We'll get it right eventually. And coming to bat. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. Bottom of the 7th here for Lenoir-Rhyne as the Bears lead 9-3 over Newberry. Bears batted around in the 6th. 4 runs, grand slam by Wade Kuda sort of broke this game open, and E.J. Rennell, who's led off the 6th with a single, will now lead off the 7th, looking to do the same. 1 for 3 today is E.J. and scored on that long left field shot by Kuda. That gave the Bears a 9-3 lead. Inning starting to wind down a little bit. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. 9-inning game scheduled. Here's the pitch from Jacob Jeffcoat. He has come out for his 2nd inning. Came in and sort of settled things down for Newberry after the grand slam. Did give up a 2-out triple to Drew Galassi and walked Will Jones, but was no further damage there. And Rennell now faces off to lead off the bottom of the 7th. I only mentioned this is a 9-inning scheduled because the way the South Atlantic Conference has done their doubleheaders conference games this year have been 2 doubleheader days, and each day consisting of a 7-inning game and a 9-inning game. So Newberry won the 7-inning one back in game 1. Rennell ground. That's going to be a tough play for Lansdowne, but he makes a throw. He's made some good plays at second for Newberry and displayed his fielding ability, which looks pretty good. And Rennell goes down. 4 out 1. Xander Ferlinda steps in. He also singled in that 4-run 6th and trotted around to score thanks to Wade Kuda. So he's 1 for 3 today with a run scored, and will face Jacob Jeffcoat with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. And that pitch is low, ball 1. Ferlinda, redshirt senior from Syracuse, New York, and lines a single past the shortstop into center field. And the Bears may be starting another rally here in the bottom of the 7th. His previous school was St. Bonaventure. Actually flew there when I was at Appalachian for a basketball game, and from the time we landed in Buffalo to the time we took off from Buffalo, it snowed with nonstop. So, a little bit of knowledge of what life in Bonnieland is as Bryce Stober steps in. And ball one. Stober also reached in the third and came around to score. Thanks to the generosity of Wade Kuda and his grand slam off the roof of the batting cage in left. And there's a nice shot by Stober, but good catch there. And Ferlinda was going, looked like it was going to be a single two, and he's caught off for the double play. So line shot to short by Stober, catches Ferlinda off first, and all of a sudden the Bears go down here in the bottom of the seventh. We'll go to the top of the eighth with Lenoir-Rhyne leading 9-3, and Joey Cobb anxious already out on the mound. So we'll be back to watch him throw. Here in the top of the eighth, you're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. We'll be right back. And we're back here for the top of the eighth. Just trying to see. I think there's been a change at second base for the Bears. Trying to figure out who that is. As Joey Cobb, first pitch strike, to Dalton Lansdowne, the Newberry second baseman, who's done quite a good job in the field, but is 0 for 2 here in game 2 of our doubleheader. And quickly in the count, 0-2. I believe that might be Manny Montez at second for the Bears. I'll have to give it one more look here in a second. And here's the pitch. And fouled off. So Lansdowne stays alive. I believe that is number 23 for Lenoir-Rhyne, Manny Montez. So he gets some late inning work here and replacing Wade Kuda. And there's pitch high, ball one. Montez, a redshirt junior from Grand Island, New York. Not sure where that is exactly, but he went to Niagara County Community College, so it might be up in the Buffalo area. And here's a pitch from Cobb, and a swing and a miss as Lansdowne goes down on strikes. So Cobb now in his fourth inning of work has faced 10 Newberry batters and retired all. 5 now on strikeouts. And a change here At the top of the order for Newberry, this is number 20, Bo Thompson. He's a senior from Pickens, South Carolina. So he will bat for Zachary Bales and take strike one. Number's kind of difficult to see on these camouflage type tops that the Bears are wearing. Here's a pitch from Cobb and a little bit outside. I ran into this yesterday, and as a former SID and head statistician, I would always prefer black tops with white numbers or white tops with black numbers. It doesn't always work that way. So these are red numbers on camouflage jerseys, and they aren't the easiest to see. Our women in softball yesterday wore white numbers on white jerseys with a thin red line, so that was also difficult to make out depending on where they were on the field. So I vote for white numbers on black tops and black numbers on white tops. Here's the pitch to Thompson, and he fouls that one back to stay alive, 1-2. Joey Cobb, his fourth inning of work, and I tell you what, after a little bit of a bump in the road in the fourth for the Bears and Tanner Moyers, he has come in and done a great job as Cobb. And there's strikeout number 6 in the 11 batters he's faced. Luke Orr, Luke Orr will stand in for Newberry. He's 0 for 2 here in Game 2. Had a sacrifice back in the first inning that advanced Zach Bales, who ended up scoring on a double by Eden Bauer. So he'll stand in for the fourth time. Has faced Cobb back in the fifth, grounded out to second base. Cobb's anxious. He's ready to roll. And I wouldn't blame him. He's in a groove right here as he faces Luke Orr, first baseman for Newberry. And that one's outside. Count goes to 1-1. Joey Cobb comes set. Freshman left-hander for the Bears. And there's a swing and a miss. Count goes to 1-2. No one in the Bears bullpen, as you may suspect. Cobb's been in absolute command ever since he came into the game in the fifth inning. Shakes off a pitch or two. He's set. He knows what he wants to throw. Here it is, just a slap ball to the third base side, and a nice play by Mike McHugh, and the runner is out. So another 1-2-3 inning for Joey Cobb. Sets down Newberry, and the Bears will come in to bat in the bottom half of the eighth, leading 9-3. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. And Manny Montez, who replaced Wade Kuda at second base, gets his first at bat of the day. as he steps in against Jacob Jeffcoat and takes a ball. Montez, as I mentioned, is a junior out of Grand Island, New York. He faces Jeffcoat, who is now in his third inning of work. And there's a strike. There's a change behind the plate, too, for Newberry. Numbers covered up by the chest protector straps, but I think that's number 14, Rhett Jolly. So we'll check on that for you. And there's a pitch and nice shot by Montez. Long foul ball. And that's the furthest into Ms. Mauser's yard we've seen one go today. Counts 1-2. Montez, his first plate appearance. Here in the bottom of the 8th. He's set. And here comes a pitch from Jeffcoat. And fouls that one off. So Montez not shy. His first opportunity to play today, and he's come out swinging. 1-2 the count. There's nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Bears lead 9-3. Thanks to 4 home runs, including a grand slam by Wade and Kuda. 2 home runs by Drew Galassi and a solo shot by Will Jones. And some outstanding pitching. This one's come up here behind us. Oh, and it hits off the lights. So, first time today we've seen one come off the lights from the top. We did have a foul ball back in game 1. Hit the brick wall, bounce up off the light pole and into the Bears bullpen. But that was a high foul ball that actually came down directly down on the top of the lights. So first time we've seen that today. And Montez keeps swinging and hanging in there. He's down 1-2 in the count. Nobody out. Bottom of the 8th. Bears lead 9-3. And here's the pitch and a swing and a miss. So good battle by Manny Montez, but he goes down swinging for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. And the first strikeout for Jacob Jeffcoat. Mike McHugh steps in. Single scored back in the 3rd. Flying out to third base and Grant out to second base in his other 2 at-bats. He'll face Jeffcoat for the second time. Jeffcoat retired him the first time up. We'll see how Mike does here. 1 out here, bottom of the 8th. Bears with a solid 9-3 lead. A couple people up, warming up in the Bears bullpen. Only thing I can think of is maybe Cobb after going 5 innings. Maybe getting a little bit weary, but boy, he sure has been effective for the Bears. And McHugh takes a ball. Count goes to 3-0. So Jeffcoat in a hole here against the Bears' third baseman. He did walk a batter back in the 6th. That was Will Jones, but for the most part has had good control. And he gets set to face McHugh. Here's the pitch. And that ball's high, ball 4. So 4 pitches, 4 balls by Jeffcoat. And the Lenoir-Rhyne third baseman trots down to first as Topher Grant steps in for the Bears. He had a single back in the 3rd inning. Flew out to center. The last time he faced Jeffcoat, that was in the 6th. So 1 out, Mike McHugh on first via the walk, and Topher Grant at the plate. Here's a pitch and a big swing by Grant and just foul down the left field line. He had a big cut at that one. But a few feet foul. As Nick Butler retrieves the ball and gets it back in. Gets reset in left. And Topher Grant will face Jeffcoat here again. And that's a strike 0-2. So a foul ball shot down the left field line now, and watch the second one go by. Puts Grant in an 0-2 hole with Mike McHugh at first and one out here in the bottom of the 8th. Bears lead 9-3. Really, really need a win here. Split this doubleheader and get back in the win column as we head towards the conference tournament. Ball to Grant. Jeffcoat now 1-2 count on the Bears' first baseman. As Grant settles in, Mike McHugh on first. Jeffcoat doesn't seem to be that concerned about him, of course, with a 9-3 lead. Nice play by the first baseman there for Newberry. Thought about going to second, did Luke Orr, but then decided against it and just stepped on the bag to get Grant. So McHugh moves over on the 3 unassisted. And the Bears with a runner in scoring position will send Drew Galassi to the plate. Not sure what else he could do today. Solo home run in the bottom, lead off the bottom of the first. Sacrifice fly to move a runner over in the third. 2-run homer in the 5th and a 2-out triple in the 6th. So let's see what else he can add to that line as he faces Jacob Jeffcoat. First pitch ball. And I imagine Newberry certainly aware of what number 24 can do at the plate or has done at the plate today. And Jeffcoat might be a little bit cautious here. And ball 2. 2 outs here, bottom of the 8th. Bears with a 9-3 lead. After this inning, or the bottom half, we'll just need 3 outs to get a win here in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Jeffcoat comes set. Galassi waiting for the pitch. Here it is. And that's high, ball 3. So, after a strikeout to lead off the bottom of the 8th, Jeffcoat's walked McHugh on 4 pitches and now is in danger of doing the same to Drew Galassi. Mike McHugh stands on second, and here's the pitch, and that's low, ball 4. So, a little bit of an up and down inning for Jeffcoat. Strikeout, 4-pitch walk. Ground out to first, and another 4-pitch walk. And the Bears have a chance to add another run or so here and extend their lead, which is currently 9-3. Will Jones steps in. He had a solo home run in the 5th. Had an kind of swing back in the 3rd that got a run home, and then walked in the 6th. Here's the pitch, and a little bit high, ball 1. Thought Jones might go after that one. Didn't look like a bad pitch, but obviously wasn't what he wanted. And with Bears on base, he's probably going to be a little bit picky about what he swings at. Want to know the count. Jacob Jeffcoat pitching for Newberry, and Jones takes strike 1. Like he felt it might have been a little inside, but a strike nonetheless to the Bears right fielder. Sun's gotten out from behind that cloud and brightened things up here, as you may be able to tell on the stream. There's a high fly to center, and that is going to be caught for out 3. So high fly out for Will Jones will end the inning, and the Bears leave a couple on as we head into the top of the 9th and hopefully the last 3 outs of this baseball game, as the Bears lead Newberry 9-3. We'll be right back. You're listening to Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball on the Bears Sports Network, sponsored by MBA Roofing. And we're back, everyone. Top of the ninth here. Bears with a 9-3 lead, looking to shut this game down and get a split here with Newberry on a beautiful Sunday in Hickory. Ray Stokeham, I believe, is the new pitcher for Lenoir-Rhyne in relief of Joey Cobb. And the Bears have hit some home runs today, but I would say Joey Cobb has been just as instrumental in this win. 4 innings pitched, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 6 Ks. Nice job for the freshman out of Denver, North Carolina. And Stokeham will try to close this out. He's a redshirt junior from Raleigh and Sanderson High School. And with a 6-run lead, just needs to throw strikes here. He faces Jack Harris for Newberry. And there's strike 2. Harris doubled and scored back in the 4th. That sandwich between 2 outs. Fly out and a ground out to second base. So his 4th plate appearance with Newberry trailing by 6 in the top of the 9th. Stokeham comes set, and here's the pitch, and that's a ball. Count goes to 2-2. You can probably hear there's excitement in the Bears dugout. It's been a long weekend, and this will be a nice way to cap it off, get back in the win column against the conference rival from Newberry, South Carolina. Here's Stokeham's pitch, and that one is a little bit high to Jack Harris. And the count runs full for Stokeham. So 3-2. Stokeham in the 9th is the first batter he's faced in relief of Joey Cobb, who had as good a pitching performance as I've seen in a while. And there's a fly ball to center. Looks like Galassi's going to be able to get there, and he does. Looked like he thought it was going to be deeper than it was, but he was able to recover, was Drew, and get out one here in the 9th. So Stokeham gets his first batter, and they're going to come in, and he's coming out of the game. So I guess this was a nice, maybe farewell for Ray. Even though he's listed as a redshirt junior, he may be graduating and moving on. And the Bears all out of the dugout, standing and clapping and greeting and congratulating their teammate, Ray Stokeham. So, pitcher comes in for the Bears. Looks like be number 20, Zach Lambeth. I think that's who it's going to be. So Stokeham faced one batter and was able to retire Jack Harris. And now Zach Lambeth, I believe, is on to pitch for Lenoir-Rhyne. So he may be taking it the rest of the way for the Bears. With one out here in the top of the 9th. And Lenoir-Rhyne leading 9-3. So Simpson single by Nick Butler back in the 4th. "14 Newberry Wolves set down by Bear pitching in a row. So when the Bears trail 3-2, pitching staff locked it down from there. Bears bats came alive. 3 home runs in the span of a couple innings. 4 on the day. Big shot, a grand slam by Wayne Kuda. A couple of home runs by Drew Galassi, a solo shot by Will Jones. And here we are with the Bears 2 outs away from splitting a doubleheader with Newberry and getting back in the win column here as we head towards the conference tournament. So Zach Lambeth will come in. in relief of Ray Stokeham. He retired the only batter he faced, much to the pleasure of the Bear dugout. And Lambeth here trying to close it out for Lenoir-Rhyne. Here's a pitch, and that's high, ball one. Lambeth comes from the side a little. Effective way to approach the plate for many pitchers. He comes set. And that's a ball low. Aiden Bauer at the plate. He started off hot here in game two. Pair of RBI doubles, but struck out in the sixth, facing Joey Cobb, one of 6 that Cobb set down on strikes here this afternoon. And Lambeth will look to do the same, and there's strike one. So count now 2-1 to Bauer as Lambeth settles down and gets one across the plate. One out here, top of the ninth. Bears 2 outs away from a win at Durham Field. And that one fouled back. Count goes to strike 2-2. Bears are excited down below us as Lambeth comes set. And here's the pitch to Bauer. And foul that off. So 2-2 is the count. Newberry not willing to give up, nor should they. They've done a fine job this weekend, taking the first 3 games. Trying to battle here, see if they can make anything happen against the Bears in the top of the ninth, but there's a... Bears disappointed, but from my vantage point, I don't think that was a swing either. Excuse me, I had to cough there. So I apologize for that. And the count's 3-2 against Aiden Bauer. Zach Lambeth comes to the plate. And there's ball 4. Wow. Looks like Lambeth wanted that one. But Bauer will trot down to first with a 1-out walk. And Colin Allman coming to the plate for Newberry. The shortstop for the Indians has flown out to center twice. Had a sac fly and an RBI back in the 4th. And faces Zach Lambeth for the first time, and there's a strike. So Allman 0 for 2 here in game 2, but with an RBI. And Lambeth comes to the plate. And there's a fly ball to right. Jones looks like he's got a play, and he does for out 2. So 2 away now. Newberry down to their last out. And Zach Lambeth will come out. The sophomore from Trinity High School. And he will exit. We'll see who this final pitcher is for the Bears. Senior day here at LR, although Lambeth not a senior. But he will exit to the applause of his teammates. And see if we can catch the number here of the new Bear pitcher. Trying to tell here if this is 16. And I think it is. Number 16 for the Bears. Looks like Lowell Shipper. He's a grad student from Santa Monica, California, but came here by the way of the University of Richmond. So Shipper will be the third pitcher of the inning for Lenoir-Rhyne, as Coach Ramirez giving some guys a chance to get an inning in, although Zach Lambert has pitched well. No, this isn't Shipper. It looks like it might be Brett Folk. So that wasn't a 16, my apologies. That was an 18. And this is Brett Folk here to try to close it out for the Bears. Folk, a senior from East Bend, North Carolina, Forbush High School, right up the road there as you're heading towards Winston. And he will try to close it out for Lenoir-Rhyne. Bears lead 9-3. Sun behind a cloud here, so it's darkened up a little bit. Lights aren't on. I think we would hope they don't come on, because if Brett Folk can get this out, the Bears are going to put one in the win column, and we can all head home happy. And Folk looks ready. And he will face, I believe, a pinch hitter for Newberry. I can't tell. That might be number 41, but he's listed as a pitcher. Let's see if that is the case. 41 is Jacob LeBron. I'm not sure if that's him or not, but Folk, regardless, will come to the plate here with 2 outs in the top of the 9th, and that's a ball. Hayden Bauer on first. He walked with 1 out. Ray Stokeham got out 1 in the inning. Zach Lambeth got out 2, and Brett Folk here trying to get out 3. Folk comes set. And here's the pitch. And that's a strike from the tall, lean right-hander for the Bears. Still can't make that number out for the Newberry batter. And Folk comes set, 1-1 to count. And there's a pop-up. And it is, in fact, number 41 for Newberry. He's listed as a, well, pitcher outfielder. Okay, so that makes a little more sense. So Jacob LeBron pinch hitting here for Nick Butler. And Folk comes set, 1-2 count. Could be the last pitch of the game. Braun set and ready. Here's the pitch from Folk. And there's a line shot to the left, and that's going to drop for a base hit. So Newberry not ready to give up yet. A walk and a single, and they have runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Rhett Jolly. He replaced Kenny Bergman behind the plate an inning or so ago, so Jolly will step in for his first at-bat of the day with runners on first and second and 2 outs. So Jolly with a chance to make a little bit of noise against Brett Folk, and there's strike 1. Jacob LeBron at first after a single to left. That pushed Hayden Bauer over to second, and Rhett Jolly is trying to keep this little 2-out rally going for the Wolves. He takes strike 2, though, and Newberry could be down to their last strike here as Brett Folk comes set and tries to close it out for Lenoir-Rhyne. top of the ninth. And here's a pitch from Falk. And strike three. So nice job by Brett Falk to come in. Did give up a single there, but no harm done. And the Bears take game 2 of this doubleheader 9-3 over the Newberry Indians. Lenoir-Rhyne improves to 23-17, 19-13 in the South Atlantic Conference. And Newberry falling to 22-13, 19-9. South Atlantic Conference tournament looms for the Bears, and we'll see how seedings go after this weekend's games. Thanks for joining us. Bears split here against the Newberry Wolves, and hope to keep their season going as we move into the conference tournament. We're glad you were with us as we end today. Bears Sports Network is sponsored by MBA Roofing, and Lenoir-Rhyne Baseball gains a split here against Newberry. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks again. Goodbye.